What's up, Ragin Nation? This is Alex. You're watching the Ragin Ronin review, and yesterday I saw Three Musketeers. When I saw the trailer for this movie, I got pretty excited. I thought it looked kind of cool because they showed off all the money shots in the trailer. So that's what made it exciting for me. And, you know, I think Paul W.S. Anderson is an average director. He doesn't make anything that's totally blows me away. Going into this movie, I had really low expectations. I'll be completely honest. This was a really dumb movie. I merely wanted to watch it because I was curious and I had 2 hours to kill. And that's the only reason why you should watch this movie. But, I mean, I'm a big fan of sword fighting movies. I saw The Last Musketeer where they had all this kung fu wire work. But this one was kind of like a fast-paced version of itself. In terms of, is it entertaining? Yes, it is, and I think that's the only reason why you would want to watch this, because it's not for the story. I could not follow the story at all. None of the characters were memorable. I literally dozed off during the non-fighting scenes. I thought we were going to be seeing some pretty spectacular fights with Christopher Waltz's character and Orlando Bloom, but nothing. We're seeing Orlando Bloom for the first time as a villain, and we didn't get a peep out of him. So a little disappointing in that department. None of the Musketeers were memorable at all. I did not care for any of them. Milla Jovovich as Milady, oh my god, that was just... I never liked Milla Jovovich as an actress because her acting is just really subpar. I only really liked her in The Fifth Element because she was playing some kind of weird being, and she was cute in that, but every time she's on the screen, she's just really eye candy, but I don't think she's a good actress at all. Christopher Waltz is totally wasted in that movie. I don't even know why he went from going to iconic villain from Inglourious Basterds to the Cardinal in this goofy movie. It's just another paycheck for him. Character and story just out the drain. Didn't care to follow any of it. Action, on the other hand, some pretty exciting moments. I think the best moment was really when D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers fight together for the first time in the courtyard with the guards. That actually was a very spectacular scene. I even got goosebumps because, like I said, I like a good sword fighting movie, and that fight was really well choreographed, and it was really exciting. That was the best scene in the movie. I didn't care for the airships. It was kind of different. I've never seen anything like that before, but you really have to check your brain at the door. And this is a movie where it's about disbelief and imagination and fantasy, but you really have to take it to a whole other level in believing how these things work. There's this one scene where the love interest of D'Artagnan is actually tied to the bow of the ship, of the airship, and they say that they're gonna cut her loose. But they just skip that entire scene, and then she's already cut loose. The reason why is because when you really think about it, how are they gonna do that without having her fall off? It's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous, but who cares? That's what this type of movie is. I have to admit that the only scene that really caught my eye is during that first battle with all the Musketeers against the guards. That was it. That was the best scene, and every other scene after that was just totally forgettable. I didn't care for the D'Artagnan fight against Rushford. Just wasn't spectacular at all. I've seen way better sword fighting in Pirates of the Caribbean. Now I'm going to talk about something that I continue to talk about in a lot of this huge trend of 3D movies. And the trailer advertised that it was shot in 3D. Like that really makes a difference. The 3D was as good as, if not a tiny bit better than Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides was not even in 3D, but we still had to wear 3D glasses to watch it. I mean, you could have taken them off and the movie would have been the same movie. The same thing applies to this movie. The 3D was only put there for the sake of 3D. It was so gimmicky. They almost decided to just throw stuff at the screen just to really make it a point that it was in 3D. And those were the only times when you really noticed that there was some sort of 3D, because otherwise, no 3D. Unnecessary. Just totally unnecessary. I took my 3D glasses off and on, and there are some scenes that they're not in 3D at all. The perception of depth was not really there. I was waiting for those scenes where things are really gonna pop out at you, because they really advertised that in the trailer. Never happened. I don't even know if shooting it in 3D or converting it in 3D makes a difference. Literally, it's the same thing to me, unless you're Transformers Dark of the Moon, where they did an amazing job converting it. Why couldn't it be like that? And it doesn't help that a lot of the action takes place during these dark and poorly lit scenes, because when you put on 3D glasses, there's already that initial light loss. So after that, when you already have an existing dark scene, it doesn't help at all. So, like I said, another case of unnecessary 3D. Oh, and by the way, there's just this one thing that really distracted me from the movie. The first thing I noticed was that the actor that played D'Artagnan, Logan Lerman, he looks like Michael Cera. I couldn't stop thinking about that. But then later on, you have Matthew McFadden, who played Athos, who when I first saw him with the goatee looked like Nicolas Cage. Then you have Luke Evans, who looks like an older version of James McAvoy from Wanted. And then to top things off, you have Ray Stevenson, who looks like King Leonidas, played by Gerard Butler in 300. So I'm watching all 4 Musketeers, and they look like these 4 other actors. So when I was watching it, all of a sudden I just started cracking up. I couldn't stop laughing because who are these guys supposed to be? We got Superbad, King Leonidas, Ghost Rider, and the guy from Wanted in the same movie together. And if that wasn't good enough, you have Orlando Bloom, who's a low-rent version of Justin Timberlake. Or Justin Timberlake's a low-rent version of Orlando Bloom. I thought that in itself was more amusing than the whole movie. Anyways, I give this movie 5 out of 10 for entertainment value. Give it a rental. If you really feel the need to buy it, then buy it when it's at the bargain bin. This is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching the Ragin Ronin review. Peace. Actually, the robot, also known as Adam, becomes a national hero because he's the underdog and everybody loves rooting for the underdog. I'm a sucker for that kind of thing, so I really